fun to catch up with you today and talk about a subject we haven't discussed yet all year, and that's a late harvest wine. Why a late harvest wine? Why did you decide to make it?
We've, I don't know, had about 11 vintages now. And the one thing that, of course, the Okanagan and BC and Canada is supposed to have is ice wine, which actually doesn't work here at all. It's way too warm where we are. We did make an attempt, actually, in about the second year that we had a harvest, and we ended up just leaving a bunch of Gewürztraminer hanging out there, and it was terrible looking, and it really wasn't usable. So we realized the site said, hey, if you're ever going to make something, make a Botrytis affected or a late harvest. And the biggest demand has really been from our customers in the restaurant. People come that we have a fantastic culinary program, so people come and they really want to have sort of that finishing touch, which we haven't had in our portfolio. So Matt's going to be making our first late harvest Riesling this year.
You chose Riesling, Matthew. That's a great grape to use for late harvest.
Yeah, pretty classic. The choice behind that is looking for that sweetness, but the Riesling gives us the balance and the acidity.
Are there any real challenges to like, what do you make the decision to hang it longer? Like, how does all that work?
Well, we were trying to encourage, we knew we weren't going to, get to ripeness without the influence of Botrytis, which shrivels the grape and concentrates the sugars. So we had to treat it a little bit differently in the vineyard, keep on canopy pretty late in the season to encourage that. We got a little bit of that Botrytis, but it was very clean, just enough to sort of raise in like 50% and bump up the sugars. Yeah.
And no birds or bears or deer or what? Are you out there fighting them every day?
Yeah, they were netted for sure. Our biggest challenge is birds, definitely, but we kept the nets on and we kept them intact.
Yeah. So your regular Riesling would be picked at how many bricks, and what would the late harvest come in at? How do the sugars differ?
Our regular Riesling comes in around 21, 22 bricks. We picked the late harvest about 4 weeks after, and we got 26 and a half bricks. So just into that select late harvest.
Can we have a look at it? What's it look like?
Yeah. All right. We've got in one of our sort of to-go totes here because it's a small volume, and Matt's going to pull a little bit out. And into glass. Unfortunately, we didn't ship you any samples here ahead of time.
Yeah,
but
it looks delicious. I wish I had some. Yeah, very cool. And now, what would the residual sugar be in this wine versus a regular finished Riesling at 50th?
Yeah, it's going to be quite sweet. So we've just stopped it. It fermented for about 12 days. We kept the fermentation cold, and then we just stopped it with temperature. We're around 110, 120 grams per liter of sugar.
Wow.
And the alcohol will be around 9%.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so how will you bottle it, Curtis? Will it be in big bottles, small bottles? What's the plan?
Magnums. Yeah, you really have to commit. You're gonna have to commit to this wine. No, it's going to be, I think, what is it? 350? 375 mils. So yeah, so half bottle, and they're going to be a Hock bottle. So it's going to be kind of like a Gewürztraminer, tall, slender, the German Hock bottle. So it'll sort of fit into the appearance will be beautiful, and clear glass so you can see what you're drinking. So, or is it green glass? Green glass? Or it's clear glass. Yeah.
What do you think about the ageability of the wine?
Well, I think, with the residual sugar levels quite high, I think it ages quite well. I think that the flavors will develop really well over time. And, the ageability should be quite good because it does have a nice acid balance in there as well.
And I assume for sure it's going to be under screw cap at 50th.
Or screw cap, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
As long as we can get a screw cap, it'll be under a screw cap.
Yeah.
And finally, can we buy it? Do we have to join a club? How are we going to get this wine?
Yeah, it'll probably only be available at the winery. So absolutely, you join the wine club. You can order direct from the winery. It'll be predominantly allocated to our restaurant. So there won't be a lot of it, but we'll be able to for sure get it to your door, but probably not in retail. We didn't, as you can see, it's about a 4x4x4 cube of wine.
Yeah.
And Matt's actually going to be doing a little bit of barrel work with this wine too, aren't you, Matt? Right at the end here.
Yeah, we're going to age it in barrel for the next 3 months and try and get some further development and flavor on it as well. And that's the next move for it.
That's so interesting. It's really exciting to hear someone talk about late harvest wine. I always think they're more complex than ice wines, so they're more interesting, and this will be fun to taste. Really enjoyed chatting to you guys. And I guess, is that the end of the harvest for you then? Does that wrap up 21 or?
Yeah, definitely.
That's
yes, it does. Yeah.
Let's put that one
And
in
how
the
would,
book.
and how would you rate the year overall?
You know, the quality, the potential is really high. You know, we had such a great warm growing season. There's so much flavor and depth in ripeness. I'm looking forward to these wines.
It's exciting to see so much energy going into making a late harvest wine, a long overlooked jewel in the Okanagan winemaker's toolbox.